Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light slashes corporate jobs, Facebook files confirm White House censorship, Elon Musk's friend is suing YouTube creator for showing that he uses bots, FatCon Festival is set for Philadelphia, major companies are firing their chief diversity officers, Dylan Mulvaney speaking fees are revealed, DOJ file paperwork for Trump to be indicted on the grounds of attempting to wipe a server, U.S. on track to deliver tanks to Ukraine, SEC rules on businesses reporting cyber attacks, Ford beats their earnings, but not for the EV division because they're still losing money. Harley Davidson misses their earnings, but their stock still goes up. French's Mustard and Skittles team up for a new flavor. Tupperware stock skyrockets, and Trader Joe's has yet another recall. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say, he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me. That's a joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner and need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Now, going on to the business part of the podcast, you have Ford beating their earnings. But EV is, of course, it's still losing money, of course. Now, it looks like for the quarter, Ford reported a top-line revenue of $45 billion, which is an exceptional amount of money, and even better when you consider they actually only expected $40.17 billion. And that's also a 12% improvement from the $37.91 billion it reported a year ago during the same time period. And it's also sequentially higher than Q1's $41.5 billion revenue. Now, they also adjusted a earnings per share, or EPS, of 72 cents per share, and they beat their overall 54 cents per share that analysts and all the Wall Street analysts were expecting. And they have an adjusted earnings before tax of $3.8 billion. So pretty much everyone on Wall Street is ecstatic because if you're a publicly traded company, the number one thing you can do to make everyone beyond euphorically happy is to actually beat their expectations, especially during a contentious economy with 40-year hyperinflation, a lot of uncertainty. Anecdotally speaking, no one I know is buying vehicles, but overall, Ford seems to be doing exceptionally well. Now, for its business's full year projections, Ford boosted its profits guidance for Ford Blue and Ford Pro, but they actually increased the loss projection for Ford Model E. Now, Ford Blue is the traditional Ford company that you know and love. They make the Mustang, they make the F-150, the traditional company, Ford Blue. Now, the other division they created was Ford Commercial. Now, those are like the F-450s, the really large, as it might sound and entail, commercial trucks. So the ones that are much larger, more durable. They have contracts with, a myriad of other applications besides civilian use. And then they also have their third and right now the most painful part of the company. That is going to be their EV division, which, of course, most companies will lose money for quite some time when you have a new project or a new division because you have research and development, you have upkeep. Now, in terms of the breakdown, it's quite astronomical. You had $8 billion EBIT, earning before income tax, for Ford Blue during this quarter. That's quite good considering the last quarter was $7 billion. Now, interestingly enough, they also had $8 billion earning before income tax for Ford Pro. So the commercial part of the business is doing great. That's actually up from $6 billion. So commercial Ford is doing great. Ford Blue, which we know and love, good old Ford Mustang, F-150. That's pretty much well, they have some crossovers I'm sure that no one cares about, but it's the F-150 and the Mustang that really the heartblood of the company historically and still now. So they're doing great, but it looks like their analysis for Ford, the Model E unit, which part of me just thinks they use that just to keep it away from Tesla. They had the trademark for quite some time, and Tesla wanted to do the Model E so Elon could spell out sexy when you look at all the models, which moderately comical and pretty B+ for marketing, pretty unique. But of course, Ford Model T is what made the company back in the day, so apparently they had the Model E for quite some time. So that's why they decided to call their EV division. Now, it's projected their full year loss for the Model E division will be $4.5 billion, which, yes, that does sound terrible because it is. They actually only, quote, quote, expected to have a loss of $3 billion. And I can't help but think there's got to be a little bit of animus and competition inside of Ford. Because if you're Ford Blue, so you're working on the traditional Ford team, you're making the F-150, which historically speaking is the most successful pickup in history. by number of units sold. So you're working on that. You have someone who's working on the Mustang, which iconic American muscle, good old stick shift and a V8, which is the most euphoric experience you can possibly have in a vehicle, which is why I recommend everyone should have a stick shift. Good old 3 pedals can't be beat. But I digress. If you're making all that, your company's making the cash, the profit. And then you have Johnny over in the EV division, and they're the ones that's currently anchoring the company to the bottom of the ocean, fiscally speaking. Now, there has to be a little bit of animus, and I can't help but think, what's that doing for the Ford culture when you have the different divisions? And it'll be interesting to see. Now, of course, people ask, well, why is the situation even worse than you projected? And we also lowered the cost for these vehicles. They're also, if you drive past a Ford dealership, I can't help but notice when I drive past them, there is a whole lot of those E-Mach bastardized Mustangs. Now, it has nothing to do with the traditional Mustang, the good old American muscle car. It's the E-Mach Mustang, or whatever, Mustang E. They pejoratively stole the name because it is a very attractive name. Everyone knows it. And they made an electric crossover little thingamajig. The lots are full, packed to the brim with those things. They're not moving like they used to. So that's got to be concerning for many of these Ford executives, or one would think. Now, it looks like when asked for comment, they said, quote, the pricing environment, disciplined investments for new products and capacity, and other costs. Ford also expects to reach a 600,000 EV unit production running rate during 2024, instead what they originally projected of 2 million annual run rate for EV vehicles. So despite everything you hear and what many of these companies are telling you, the EV adaptation is taking a little bit longer than expected, and I suspect there's going to be a little bit more pushback from the consumer base as well, as you have cars that now cost, people are financing the cars like 80 plus months, an astronomical amount of time, and they're becoming almost as expensive as a house, or they're actually more expensive than what a house used to be thanks to inflation and a couple other factors. But if you're going to go out and buy a vehicle, personally speaking, I'd rather have a vehicle that lasts 25 plus years than a million miles, which is why I buy a Honda. And it also has 3 pedals, which can't be beat. A lot of people cannot afford to buy an EV vehicle that's basically disposable. Those things don't last 5, 7, 12 years. There's no way. With the current technology we have, it's not going to happen. That's not saying that tomorrow we might have a new battery technology that's even more efficient, a little bit more reliable. But in terms of my 3 cents, it used to be 2 cents. I should charge 4 because of inflation, but I'm a generous man, so it's 3 cents today. My 3 cents is these people just can't swallow that pill of buying such an expensive vehicle that's currently basically just disposable. Especially when you have all this uncertainty of, you have the economy that's uncertain, you have 40-year hyperinflation. It'll be interesting to see how many people continue this adaptation when, everyone's being stretched thin, they're concerned about their income, and time shall tell to see what they do. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so I'd really appreciate you taking time to click that subscribe button. Also, taking the time to comment and like the video really helps it out. It gets shared more and more. The more engagement we'll have, the more we'll be able to invest in the channel, get better production. I appreciate the feedback especially. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.